hates how I pack. He used to unpack my suitcase and then repack it. So now I don't even pack it. I put all my clothes in an organized fashion on the floor next to my suitcase, and he doesn't. Just because.
Team carry on.
Yeah.
Team carry on.
Hey everyone, I'm Morgan Debaun, a passionate entrepreneur and life advisor. With the Journey podcast, you'll discover that success isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. I'm sharing stories of amazing people who've taken control of their lives. Join me on my own journey to discover the secret sauce behind reaching success with permission from no one else.
Welcome back to the Journey podcast. I'm here with a very special guest today. My love, my partner in all things life, Joshua Shaw.
Yeah.
How you feeling today, babe?
You know, being in front of a camera, it's not my thing. I spend all my time behind the camera.
Yes.
So, you know, we'll get through this.
Well, this was one of the most requested episodes.
It was.
Over 100,000 people watch these videos per week, so we're getting up there.
That's true.
So tell me about you. Where are you from?
Originally from Gallatin, Tennessee.
Do you want to ask
Born and
me a
raised
question?
in the country.
We just did our maternity shoot today. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
We did like a couple different looks.
We did.
Shot it all at
Countdown
home.
is coming. November will be here before you know it.
Yeah,
So
it's coming.
I can't believe it's actually happening.
Yes.
It won't feel real, I don't think, until like the baby's here.
I feel like that's a really male thing to say. I think men
Yeah.
just don't have an association with the baby as much until it's physically there.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he's literally already here because
Yes.
he's inside of me.
So I feel like I'm more connected to you and what's going on with you than I am with the baby right now. So like, for
What do you
example,
mean by that? Yeah.
if you were to wake up in the middle of the night and like need something, I would be more apt to be like, oh, are you fine? Not, is the baby fine?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's not really any attachment to my son yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that won't come until he's here.
What's the most annoying thing that I do when I'm pregnant?
Over exaggerate everything. Really, just what it has to do with like getting up, like just try to roll over in the bed. Like
It really is uncomfortable to turn over. And then also not just that, but then try to flip over in bed.
yeah. But I also think the slowdown. I was thinking about this yesterday. The slowdown of our travel. If you compare our travels last year to this year, it feels slower. So
Yeah.
adjusting to that, because we were like, it felt like we were only home every 10 days.
Right.
And then we were off to something. So being home a little bit more has been interesting.
Better,
But I
worse?
think it's been good.
Okay. Interesting is a
think-
neutral tone.
Well, okay. So I'm just saying, like, adjusting to that, because that gives us things to look forward to.
Yeah.
Right now, our looking forward to is putting together something for the room, you know, or deciding what paint color we may want to paint whatever.
We're
room
so
in the house.
domesticated.
Those kind of things
Yeah.
have been like what we've been doing in our spare time, where last year we were going to Croatia last minute, you know, we
Yeah.
were going to Ghana last
We
minute.
lived a life.
And then, you know, I kept on bugging you, like, why aren't we going to Martha's Vineyard? Like, can we please just make an exception and please go to Martha's Vineyard?
No.
So it was just stuff like that I think we're adjusting to. I think I'm getting more excited about the baby actually getting here. So
Yeah.
like the other day, putting the jogger, the thank you baby jogger for that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, putting that together, like having the people come tint our windows so it'll be more solar efficient. You know, like little stuff.
So Josh has
little
been,
stuff
I
like
think this
that.
is how men nest, which is very different than how women nest. So like Josh has been doing random house projects. So he's getting all the windows tinted to not have UV rays get through the house to protect me and the baby's skin,
Yeah.
which is
And-
really sweet, actually. That's a very thoughtful thing to do. Thank you.
So that's getting done next week. But it also
But it's
makes
so
it a little
random.
bit more energy efficient. And you can continue to look
sir,
outside.
There's
and-
no,
So
you
you can
can't
see
try to
out,
justify this to, nope.
but
mm-mm.
you can see out, but that person can't see in. So then you don't even have to put blinds on. So that's like, to me, that's like, okay, no blinds, but beautiful, wide, modern windows.
Okay, so the people want to know how we met.
So we met through a mutual friend here in Nashville. Morgan will say at a bar. I would say it was a bar /
It
restaurant.
wasn't like a setup. It wasn't like a mutual friend setup.
Yeah. No, it was not a mutual friend setup. It was literally one of our friends called me and he was just like, hey, I've got a friend from college who recently moved to Nashville, has been in Nashville for a while. He didn't say a name. And it was like, hey, could you give me some suggestions for a restaurant that we should go to?
Mm-hmm.
Or somewhere that'll be cool just to catch up. A couple hours later, or it may have been a day later, he texted me and was like, hey, well, would you want to come? And I was like, okay, well, I'm a little free. I'll come. You came in super short, had a gray dress on, curly hair, white sneakers. You come in, we sit down, and it was kind of like a little round table. You and your friend were sitting side by side. I was sitting across the table. And so the whole night, he was just asking you so many questions. Like, I wasn't really saying much at all.
No, you weren't.
Like, I was literally just sitting there drinking my tequila. I mean, mind you, I'd never even heard of you. You know, never heard of you, never heard of Blavity. I remember me saying that I was working on some work with Mahari, and it was a partnership with Mahari and Vanderbilt. And you were like, well, do you know Dr. Debaun? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, you said you were doing some project.
There's only so many black doctors.
And I was like, listen, ma'am, I don't know who you are. I haven't heard of this. Like, okay, whatever, cool. So great night. Left from that restaurant, went to a rooftop, had a couple more drinks.
I'm drunk at this point.
I don't think so.
I was definitely tipsy.
But mind you, he's still asking you every dating question, like, I got your full life story.
For the most part,
For
yeah.
the most part.
Yeah, it was,
right there.
This is why I don't like go out randomly, because I just feel like people just are so curious that they just unload all their curiosities on me.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
I was just trying to have a drink at happy hour.
I didn't have to say anything. So we went downstairs to another like speakeasy area.
Because we're in Nashville.
We started dancing and just having a good time. And then
Well, that's not exactly what happened. I've done a good job not interrupting. I would like the record to state that I have not interrupted up until this very second. First of all, it was me and all men.
Yeah.
Little me.
Oh man.
Slightly tipsy, and all men in the dungeons of a random speakeasy in downtown Nashville off Broadway.
Yeah.
Very high risk behavior, ladies. Don't recommend. But then also, if you're trying to find a man, maybe do recommend. I was just trying to be a normal person. That's what I think that's what it was. Just go. Like, I wasn't trying to overthink it. I was just like, let's just go.
Yeah. Another one of my friends came in and apparently knew more about you than I did.
Yeah.
And
so he was excited.
Yeah, so he was excited. He's trying to talk business or maybe pitch an idea, or it was just something
like that.
And it's like, bro, it's 8:30 now, and you're trying to pitch after she's probably had 3 or 4 drinks.
Listening to Drake, like, we're kicking it.
And
like,
so all I remember was picking you up,
physically picked
you
me up,
spun you around, and sat you down, and we started dancing. And you were like, first off, it was kind of like, he really just picked me up. But you know what? I actually kind of like that.
But like, I had just met you. I was like, this is bold. This is the masculine energy I deserve.
So then fast forward, we leave.
It's like 9:30 at this point, and maybe even like 10. And I'm like, all right, this is enough. Like, the drinks are going to keep coming. I'm kind of at my threshold, like liquor wise, and I need to go home. Mm. So I was like, okay, guys, like, I'm going to go.
And I was like, well, what side of town do you have to go? And I was like, I'll drop you off. It's fine. Make sure you get home.
Sketch.
And she was just like, I don't know. And so we get to the valet and a Prius pulls up. And she was like, oh, that's you?
I'm going to get so much shit for this.
Yeah, Prius pulls up and she was like, oh, that's you? And I was like, no. And then my car pulled up and then she was like,
okay, I can cancel my Uber Black.
Okay. So
you got something to lose. That was really my threshold. I was really trying to say was,
I don't know. Try to clean it up now.
Everybody who knows me
knows what type of cars that I love and that I always drive.
I can't just be getting in cars with random men.
Anyways, so I drive you home. You get out the car. I think you were leaving to go to LA it
was Friday, that Wednesday.
Yeah, you were leaving to go
to
LA on Thursday.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, hey, what are you doing on Wednesday?
Nothing.
And
I don't know.
Like, nothing. I was like, well, hey, if you're not doing anything, let's go out and actually get a drink or some food, since I really didn't even have a chance to talk to you about anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, yeah, let's just do that. And you were like, okay, cool. So you came in, and then by the time I was leaving out of your driveway, I had sent you an open table reservation for sushi.
Yes. My favorite
And
food.
yeah.
And his name was saved as Open Table Bay in my phone for like the first probably like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. So we went to sushi, and then we had a great time. It was good energy.
We went to 3 different spots.
Yeah,
you had me walking all around downtown, which now that you know me,
Yeah.
you know that was like so much for me.
Yeah. The cool thing about it is we were able to just build an organic friendship. So our habit was, you were traveling a lot, I was traveling. And so basically, when you would fly back into Nashville, I would pick you up from the airport.
Green flag.
Go get something to eat, and then I would just take you home. Like, that was literally, and just organically, it wasn't a whole lot of texts. It wasn't a whole lot of phone calls. Mm-mm. It was just super organic and like spontaneous in a sense. It was consistently inconsistent. But I think that helped us to organically learn about each other. And then there was just a lot to also unpack about you,
Yes, I can't imagine coming in blind into my whole world.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to come in blind, to not know about Blavity, not know about Afrotech, not know about any of the incredible accolades that you have had over your career, I think that was one of the things that attracted me to you, was in the sense that you were not like, let me tell you who I am. Let me tell you this is what I do.
No, I hated talking about work.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. You just never talked about work.
Nope.
You only talked about, your family, your brother, just life.
My nephew, my friends.
Your nephew, your friends. And so I think that allowed us to just figure out, okay, this is different. This is interesting. But it just felt peaceful, and I think a lot of times in relationships, that's ultimately all you're looking for, is a person where you feel at peace with,
mm-hmm.
right?
The mental load that I felt with you in my life was like -0. Like, I was aiming for, I just want to be in a relationship and be with a person where I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
But being with you actually is even better than I don't have to think about it. It's like, not only do I have to not think about it, then you're also going to do a bunch of things that I've like never even considered thinking about. So it's like such a value add to how we live our lives. And I feel like I've done the same for you, where I'm like, don't even worry about that. Like, I got that. First time we went on vacation, I feel like was when you were really like, who is she?
When I went to Costa Rica with you for the first time, I didn't even have a return flight home.
We were really living our lives.
You see what I'm saying?
So good.
And so I knew nowhere that we were going.
Like, I had it all planned out.
Yeah, I knew no hotel. I knew nothing. And so seeing that, I think that was cool. But I think really, for me, it was just about, it goes back to just peace. I think we found a natural balance to be able to live the life that we live right now. Mm-hmm. And I think we found a natural balance of having a female partner who is so acclaimed and so successful. And, we find a way to support each other through that. And I think that's been helpful, because, that was the thing I think that's so beautiful for you and I, is I think we really are trying to build so many new things on top of supporting the stuff that you've already built, right? And finding ways to champion. Like, I try to be your biggest cheerleader in everything. People probably like, bro, you post about Afrotech and Blavity and
I think people think you work there now.
Yeah, they may do. But I think that's what I feel like it's all about, is who said that it had to be the opposite way around. We're both doing our thing and both extremely successful in both of our lanes, but we're both like cheerleading each other. And I think that was probably, I would say, was one of the things that we used to talk about all the time, was me saying, hey, I'm doing what I'm doing at a level. Now, it's a little bit different than your level, right? But we still find ways to support each other in those things.
100%. I think that's the question. I told people we were doing this interview, and so I got a bunch of questions. And one of the questions that I got was, how do we manage our gender norms.
Yeah.
From my perspective, we actually have pretty traditional gender norms by choice. So, like, I can't remember the last time I opened a door when Josh is with me, like a car door,
Well, yeah,
or
you forget everything when I'm not with you.
yeah, when it's so bad now that like when we don't travel together, I'm like I have more anxiety because I'm like, oh shit, do I have the charger? Do I have this? I went to my sister and brother's house the other day. I done left all my chargers there. I haven't told you that yet. I left all the chargers because I'm just so used to him like just handling,
I
that
was
stuff.
wondering why
Yeah, we're down a couple chargers in the house. You are an alpha, and I am absolutely an alpha at work. But you're actually more of an alpha at home than I am because I don't want to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't
think we
want
find
to.
a natural balance.
Yeah, I take care of the the cute stuff, scheduling our photo shoot today, making sure that's all taken care of, or making sure the house looks nice, and not because I'm cleaning, but because I make sure that someone is coming into the house and making sure things look nice, and our vacations and where we eat and where we stay and all the things that I find fun. I do not take out the garbage. I don't know what else do men do. Like I don't take out the garbage. I don't cook meat. You take care of all the protein. I don't tint windows.
You don't shop.
I don't particularly
You don't shop.
Generally I don't shop actively unless I want to.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of stuff that I think we do that just makes it easy.
I mean, even being pregnant, like I think even more so I've leaned into I'm just not going to. I'm going to be responsible for my health and the quality of food and my mental stability and everything while I'm pregnant for our family. And I'm going to not care about everything else.
Yeah.
Except for work. I think that's been really helpful for me where I just feel like I am able to expand mentally. There's a lot of things at work that I would have never done because it's just too overwhelming to try to live this life to its fullest with 100 different things. Be healthy, eat well, have a good home, build a space that's creative, be passionate about your work, be responsible with your work, be a good leader, be a good community leader, be a woman of service, be a woman of God. I mean, it's just so much that I feel like I have a stab at actually being able to get there now. Whereas before it felt like I was going to have to make trade-offs and choices. And I did make trade-offs and choices, frankly.
From what I've heard you say is sometimes it can be lonely, And I think when you start to achieve the different levels of success and even the levels that I feel like haven't even been achieved that I know you want to achieve, right? Or not even just you or what we want to achieve, right? It can get a little bit lonely.
Which is kind of why,
Yeah,
what's the point of being living such a fun life?
If you got to do it alone.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes into my answer.
This is all personal for us. I don't want anyone listening to this or watching this to feel like, you can be alone and be super happy. But
No.
I feel happier and more fulfilled being able to share all of my joys and to also participate in all of his joys. Like I'm so proud of him when he does things that is on his bucket list. You know, that was a true partnership that I was really looking for. I think it's crazy that we met just randomly.
Yeah. Like never in a million years, would I've expected all these things to plan out. But I don't look back and regret anything. I think it's the best thing that's ever happened. But I would say to answer the question about gender norms, credit to my dad on not gender norms, but processing just the fact of if you get into a habit of living your life based upon what a textbook or what people say it's supposed to be like you're always living to what somebody else is trying to tell you life is supposed to be, life is supposed to be, you get married, you have a white picket fence, you have a house, you have a dog, you work at the same job, that's how it used to be, right? And so there's a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with that live that type of mentality. You can also say, hey, what works for us works for us, and we find ways to continue to support each other and champion each other through that. And so what I mean by that is the fact that you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, just the beauty of us being in control of our schedules and in control of our trajectory automatically, organically allowed us to do life together so much more easily,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like we could be in France for 2 or 3 weeks, still highly productive and
Yeah.
still getting things done,
Yeah.
which work for us, right? So I think we find our harmony and balance by being able to have so many organic synergies together.
Yeah.
And we just so happen to be blessed to make money at the same time in our respective fields together.
Right.
And I think that's
Can you
another
tell the
thing.
people what you do for those who don't
Oh
know?
yeah. So I have a creative agency called Modern Innovation. We've been at this thing, I would say, for about 13 years. And we produce incredibly powerful, impactful content for various brands all over the United States. We just tell good stories and just being able to see our team continue to grow. I never would have seen us be where we are today, but the vision has never been clear for where we're gonna go. And we just continue to knock projects out of the park every single week, every single month. We continue to hire, we continue to scale.
It's giving work smart.
And it's been
If you've
beautiful.
seen the quality of my content increase in the last 2 years, now you know why.
I mean, and a lot of the content is not even me touching. It's just advising.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about just your first employee,
Yeah.
like you just go back to your first employee for Blavity.
Yeah. Sankara.
Right?
Yeah.
And you start seeing them, buy a home or get
Yeah.
married or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that's what we do it for. So like when I think about some of the first people who started to work for me and just believe in what I'm trying to do, and maybe not even say work for me, work together, to see some of those people have gotten married, to see some of those people have purchased homes and other things. It's kind of like, that's what we do it for. I always say entrepreneurship is not about you. It's the sacrifices.
Not the bigger you get.
Yeah, it's the sacrifices you make that make opportunities for others, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm most passionate about in the work that we do at Modern Innovation every day, is creating content that matters, creating content that has a purpose. And so being able to...
It doesn't hurt that you make a lot of money doing it.
It doesn't hurt that I do.
I'm like, yes, we're all for the people, by the people, but like...
But I'm saying still our clientele base.
Yeah.
Like when you think about the healthcare clients that we have and you think about just the other B2B clients that we have, we're still making a great impact and we're still creating content that matters in that space.
Yeah, you don't got to convince me. I love making content.
That's what
Shout out to everybody watching this podcast.
I think that's been beautiful.
That was one of the questions people asked was like, do we work together?
Yeah, we work together.
Why would you not? How could you not work together? I probably would have never started this podcast if I didn't live with this man.
That's been another beautiful thing, is to see things that we may talk about around the dinner table come to life.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
Home and texture.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. To see home and texture come to life, to see a lot of things that we can't even talk about now that I know is going to come to life.
Oh man, so excited.
So just to kind of see all those things continue to move, and us being able to say we're doing it together. Yeah. To think about matcha.
Yeah, we've got a matcha brand coming out. No, but yeah, we can say it.
Just those kind of things have been incredible.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to build together.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned from Josh since us starting to be together, he is just like one of the nicest, most kind, most giving people that I know. Like he is just a very generous spirit and so kind. And if he can be of service, he will. Even to the point where at times I kind of had to even ask you like, hey, like, is this person giving back to you as much as you're giving to them? Like, I kind of was like, are you being taken advantage of because of how nice you are?
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
But he's also a savage.
You also got to realize, so like every day I have to do something in the middle of the day. So I like to wake up and my goal is to get more done by 11 o'clock than the average person, or just the above average person. And then I typically will take a midday break to do something. Right. And then I'll come back and I'll work until
But at the time I didn't know I didn't know your energy habits.
Routine. Yeah. So I would say that for me, when it comes to you, no excuses. Because if you wake up beside you every single day and see the things that you've been able to accomplish, not just in business, but just personally, like just who you are and the work that you put into being who you are, right? Just who you are organically, it's hard to have any excuse. It's hard to be like, there is no time to do this. It's hard to say you can't achieve this. Just take the word can't out of your vocabulary because you have never operated your life or business. And then fast forward to your parents. You meet your parents, then you meet my parents, and the way that they are similar but different and their level of expectations for just life and family and all these things, it's literally a lethal combination.
Both of our parents have been married from a very young age. I feel like that's such a rare,
it's very rare
situation. And they're still together and they're like all still very cute. Like they've obviously had their ups and downs, but our parents are very much codependent and love Black people,
But I think that was another positive. Once you got to know your parents, they were like, man, y'all are just like my parents, I love
your parents.
Different career paths, but the basic principles of who they are, it's like
the values. We have the shared
same.
values.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, and I think that would be my advice to anyone who's looking to find someone who fits this level of ease and peace where like, I have all the passwords to his phone. He has all the passwords to my phone. Like, because everyone I had dated, there was always something. There was always some sort of detachment, avoidant behavior, some sort of questioning, second guessing myself, gaslighting. Like there was always something, or I was the one that was toxic. Like the interaction made me choose to be more toxic than I wanted to be as a human. So
I always say it's just easy. And then you remind me, well, it should be, so I think that's
we had
what
to unlearn that though.
Well, yeah. So the times that we disagree about stuff, it's a lot of times just BS, like I'm messing with you about something.
Yeah. You like to bicker with me.
Yeah. Because because it's literally, there is not like, we have zero issues that it's just like.
I think that was harder for you than it was for me in the beginning. I feel like sometimes when we were early dating, I was like, there's nothing else. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so boring. I have nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's literally.
There's nothing to fight about.
I mean, the only thing we would talk about is just the not putting tops on stuff. Right? So I was just in the bathroom. I was just in the bathroom. She'll get the peanut butter out and like put the top on the peanut butter. So you'll go and pick the peanut butter up by the top and then the peanut butter falls over.
But see, I just never do that. I always grab from the side.
Or you'll open the peanut butter.
Here's what it is.
That really be
I've lived alone my entire adult life. So when you live alone, you just do stuff a certain way because there's no one there to be funny. Like disrupting stuff. So like I didn't have, all types of utensils that he was like, where's your ice cream scooper? I was like, I don't have an ice cream scooper. Where's your pizza cutter? I'm like, I use scissors to cut my pizza. Like,
so all that to say is that that's a more dramatized version of like, there's literally nothing that we disagree on or have any issues. So
and my advice to anybody also is to pick and choose your battles. Like we made a decision on what are the things that I'm going to care about and what are the things that you're going to care about. And when I fully trust him to take care of the things that he cares about.
Oh, that is
I
true.
don't perseverate. I don't get in it. I don't care. I choose to just be like, I don't care.
No,
so
that's true.
In the beginning, I was asking these questions and then I was like, God is so good that he gave me a man who cares about how green the grass is.
I care about packing cubes.
He cares about even packing's a really good one.
Oh yeah, I pack for you.
This is another thing that I've given up.
Yeah, I pack
because like I've been packing myself my whole life because I'm a boss bitch and I travel a lot, so I know how to pack.
Oh,
so he hates with a passion how I pack because I just like. I just put the stuff in the thing and if it folds and it closes, it's fine. That's the whole point of a suitcase. Just zip it up and you go. Josh is like, no. So he will unpack. He used to unpack my suitcase and then repack it.
But there's a reason for that, though.
Hold up. You don't have to justify it. It's okay now. I accept you now. So now I don't even pack it. When I'm packing, I put all my clothes in an organized fashion on the floor next to my suitcase with the packing cubes, and he doesn't. Just because.
Team carry on.
Yeah. But like it was fine before. But I know
on.
that it matters to him and it doesn't matter to me. So it's not worth the back and forth. This will be interesting to see how things change when the baby gets here, because I think there's a lot of things you care about that I'm going to be like, we literally just can't care.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, because the baby's going to be like.
But for me, it's really, I only care about things that in my mind are more efficient, you know? So it's just efficiency.
We're not going to go back and forth on the suitcase thing. We've had this conversation enough.
Team carry on.
So one of the things that Josh and I have been really intentional about when we first started dating was not to share each other on social media. I'd never really shared a man. I'd shared like me walking with someone else's shoes or like somebody else's hand, but I didn't show anyone's face. So we waited a while, like 6 or 7 months, I think.
It was longer than that.
It was longer than that, yeah. Probably 7, 8 months before we posted each other. And we did that just because we wanted to have our peace. We felt invincible enough that like if anything negative or situations were to happen, we were going to be able to be stable and secure. So as it relates to the baby, you know, I think that we haven't fully decided the volume of stuff that we're going to share about the baby. I was really nervous about losing my identity as a founder and entrepreneur. It took a lot mentally for me to even get to the point where I was like posting about the pregnancy, because I'm like, I don't want you guys following me because I'm pregnant. Like I just didn't want to be a mom blogger. No offense to mom bloggers, because I follow them all now. But like I don't feel like a mom blogger, and I don't feel like someone who's been pregnant for the first time should be telling somebody else about how to navigate pregnancy, what to eat during pregnancy, what nutrition. I'm like, I don't know. It's happening to me in real time. I can't give you any advice on this. I think now that I'm more comfortable, now being many months in, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I can tell there's some philosophies that I have on motherhood and being pregnant that maybe are different than the norms. Like I can see what the norms are, and I can see what I'm not doing, like not having a baby shower and like just different things. But I also don't want to alienate all the incredible people in my life, followers, community members, women who are deciding not to have kids and don't want to follow someone who's like posting, you know, a million kid pictures every day. So my strategy has been to post more of my perspective on TikTok. You know, so like TikTok is going to be my full life, unfiltered, not thinking about what the people want or don't want, like just me 100%. And then Instagram, you know, people have been following me on Instagram from early Blavity days. So that's really a place where I felt like I want to honor the founder journey, the entrepreneurial journey, the life of just like our life as people, as humans. I think that's been nice. It's fun to see people move from Instagram to TikTok. They're like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, like it's fun over here too, but it's different.
I post more on my story. You know, I don't really post a lot on my page. So I think I'm still a storyteller in the stories.
You're such a narrative,
so
black and white Insta story guy.
There's like I feel like everything I post, there's a reason. You know, or I'm taking you on a journey.
Right.
I try to very rarely post like one-offs, you know, so like it's a series of things that move you along.
Just on brand.
Because that's just how my brain operates, right? Because I'm doing that every day. I'm directing something or directing other people to do certain things. So I don't really feel any pressure. I always feel uncomfortable in front of the camera. Like, so if you notice, like even the content that I post, you'll very rarely see me in it. I'm not a come with me to do X. You come with me by seeing it through my lens, through my viewpoint. Or you can tell more people tune in on my page when we're doing something, because I literally am intentionally taking you on a journey. So I don't necessarily feel any pressure at all, but I also don't have as many eyes on the content that I am putting out as it relates to yours. So I can kind of understand where you're coming from. But I think we've just found an organic balance, right?
Yeah, I love being like, hey, just go follow Josh. If you want to see what we're doing at Can, go follow him, because I'm not. And I
don't think we do anything over the top, you know?
How do you feel about showing his face?
Yeah, I think I want to wait just a little bit, you know? And I think we've talked about it too. It's just wait. just a little while for you to feel and us to feel the connection and all that, and let that just be a moment. But I also think it's how we process it too. We'll pre-record a lot of stuff and then we put that stuff out later because it allows us to be in the moment, but not be so rushed to put it out.
Yeah, we did that a lot during the pregnancy.
Yeah, but we do that a lot in a lot of stuff.
True.
So I think it may be some stuff like that where we may come back later.
Be like, here he is.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like he's two.
But I think for me, it's going to be important of just the bonding initially, getting used to it, just a new human.
Do you feel disconnected? You're saying things like you don't feel connected to the baby at all.
No, I'm just saying, I would say that I'm disconnected from the baby because I'm not carrying the baby. I feel connected to you. That's not even a...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I feel like I'm going to feel... It's all going to feel real when I'm holding him for the first time and he's crying or he's just looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, we created this human that is going to go out into the world and be whatever he wants to be.
Yeah.
And we get a front row seat uninterrupted to be able to champion that next thing, of what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like that excitement of me just going crazy is not going to be felt until he's out and I'm cutting the umbilical cord and I'm holding him. Then I think all of this stuff, I will feel 1,000% connected.
I think it's normal too. I definitely think it's normal for men to feel that way. I don't think there's anything odd about it. It just, as the person where he's literally moving right now while we're recording this, it's like, but he's right here. What do you mean? But I get it because you're not feeling all of the movements and the aches and the pains and
I'm just listening to you tell me about the aches and pains.
Yes.
That's all.
I'm very verbal.
But I think it's great. I'm excited. I always wanted to be a dad, but I always said that I wanted to be a dad when it felt right. I'm a very intentional person. When my mind is made up about anything, it's made up.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to change my mind when it's made up, and that's why I feel like I've been able to achieve the things I've been able to achieve is because I do feel like I have a drive and energy about myself that you really can't tell me no. And I wanted to make sure that when it did happen, that I knew that this was the right time, the right moment, the right person. I want to give it 2,000%.
This baby is going to be like, can you guys give me a break?
Yeah. So, I cannot be more excited.
Between us and double sets of grandparents in the same city, it's going to be nuts. Your friends are good dads, though. You have really strong dad friends.
Yeah, my friends, it'll be exciting to experience the fatherhood club.
Oh,
So I think that's
cute.
I think that's gonna be interesting. One of my friends just had twins.
Shout out to them.
Another one of my friends, just had his second girl. Another one of my friends just had a girl, and they all live, within 10, 15 minutes from us here.
Yeah, this kid's gonna have a lot of cousins.
But now I think what's gonna be funny is me changing a diaper for the first time.
Oh man, Josh is a germaphobe. If you can't tell,
I have never changed a diaper.
It's going to be rough. My mom and I were talking about getting him some gloves and a
hazmat suit,
N95 mask.
No, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I got a goddaughter, and I never forget, I would always tell her mother, hey, I'll do everything but change the diaper, and so I never forget, I was taking my goddaughter to a birthday dinner for my grandmother. And so as soon as we were leaving out, I was about to put her in the car and she had a blowout. I threw up on her from smelling it. So she had a blow up, I throw up. And it was just the worst thing. I was like, oh, parenthood is not for me. I got to get past this stage. So can you imagine a baby looking at me did you just throw up on me? For real. She blows out. I smell it. I throw up on her. She's looking at me sir, what is going on here?
Do you think you're going to faint when I give birth?
No, I'm not. I think I'm past that phase now.
It's pretty gross, I've heard.
But that's all to say is like, this is gonna be new and interesting. It's
Oh,
gonna
this
be
is
new and
great.
interesting, but it's gonna be fun, and you just kind of learn as you go.
You're going to be the best dad.
You just learn as you go.
You're going to be the best dad. It's going to be so
Learn as
good. Okay, rapid fire. I'm a man listening to this podcast, and I really came here because I wanted to know what it's like to date a high value woman and what's some advice that you would give a man who would prefer for his partner to be someone who is ambitious, who's got, they can be a power couple. And what would be your advice to him?
Just leave your ego at the door. I think a lot of times, even on both sides, ego can play a huge factor in how you process things. It's kind of like you could create scenarios in your head that's not even there.
Yes. You did that a little bit when we first started dating.
So I think you just got to kind of get through that. And then you also got to know that by embracing those differences, all that could do is elevate you if you've already got it built inside of you, right? So you can look at that as saying, like, let's just say that I was the founder or co-founder of Blavity, and it was the opposite. And then I met a person like you who already had a small business and was highly ambitious and was trying to take that thing to the next level. That then motivates and inspires you to then take that to heights that you were already destined to do. But sometimes you can get in your own way, or sometimes all you needed was that true partnership to unlock a whole nother level because you was already doing your thing. Like, you were going to be great with or without that person. That person just helped to be your mirror, so to speak, to reveal to you that, like, hey, no, let me show you some of the things that I had already went through 8 years ago when I first started this thing. And I'm only doing that because I don't even want you to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's going to help, like, almost put you in a slingshot. Like, that's how I felt like when it came to you. It was like, I'm already doing amazing things. I'm already making incredible money. I'm already successful. But then when you and I really started to work together, and what I mean, not work together by just us working on the projects, but working together to, like, really support each other. It was almost like somebody put me in a slingshot. It pulled that thing back and it was just like going faster than you can ever imagine. So now you're feeling stretched in ways that you never even knew was possible this quickly.
Yeah.
So I think I would say to a man who was in my position, who was already doing what you were designed to do, right? And you're able to find a woman who is achieving it at the high level, man, run as fast as you can with that person and say, hey, we're going to run this thing together. We're going to run side by side, because now it's like we're both opening doors for each other. That would be my advice. Leave your ego at the door.
Yeah.
Walk with a level of confidence because you are already designed for greatness. Right. Embrace what you already bring to the table. Go for it.
Yeah. And my advice to a woman who is high value, she's got her own career, she's, got all the degrees, whatever that means for you, don't try to change him. So when we first started dating, one of the things that I said was like, look, you're perfect as you are. Like, if all you ever did was what you do today, how you treat me today, you're perfect. So I had to really try to make sure that I was clear about that and consistent about that in my actions and my words of affirmation to him, and just to try to combat some of the things I knew inevitably his ego was going to be coming up against after I felt like, okay, cool. Like, he's feeling secure. He's feeling like at an equilibrium. He's figured out his own balance and his own dance, and his mind, his own mindset is good. Then if he wants help, if he wants me to look at a deck, if he wants to talk through this business thing, if he wants to build things together, great, let's do that. That's a bonus, but that's not a requirement. And I think that's been, for me, that was helpful at just also making sure I just wasn't applying any pressure, or just like, I didn't want you to feel like I needed you to be something that you weren't, because you were actually perfectly perfect as you were the day I met you. And I think in some moments where we've gotten it wrong, there's been times where I felt like Josh wanted me to help him more with the business. And I'm so busy at work that like when I'm not working, I don't want to help you with the business because you're my comfort. You're my, I used to call him, I still do, my son. I'll be like, I need to get some sun. You know, I need to just be around you to recharge. So if we're talking about step change growth and, you know, how to work smart and look, let's get your calendar together. Let's integrate Slack into your world. And, you know, that it doesn't feel relaxing for me.
As a entrepreneur, and you're going from like solopreneur to entrepreneur, you know, to building a team, to all those things. And then you're also around a person who is doing it at a mind-boggling level. So you're hearing a lot of thought partners throughout the day, right? You're hearing a lot of bouncing ideas off throughout the day. You're looking at your personal business and you're saying, okay, well, who's the thought partner for you? Right? Who becomes that thought partner for you, in always knowing where you want to go, knowing what you need to do to go where you want to go.
Right.
You and me.
Yeah, we
want to have a relationship that's not tied to just all we do is talk about work.
Right.
But you're also like, well, hey, when you're around you, that was what my point about earlier is, you can't help to be motivated to say, okay, what can I do every day to advance this business forward?
I mean, yeah, but
right?
You did feel frustrated.
Yeah.
And
so because it's like, well, shit, you know, I hear you talking to the so-and-so about this, or I hear you doing work smart and you're advising that. It's like, all I need you to do is tell me these two things that you need. And then that will become an issue. So
yeah, because I'm just trying to watch Netflix.
Yeah. So what I would say
tired.
to you is, it felt like what I was trying to do at the time wasn't as important to you.
Yeah.
Right. But that really wasn't the case. You know, it took us a while to get to the point of like even understanding that. So I will say that was probably the most difficult thing, is two people in business, but at two different levels.
I mean, I could even considered
levels, right?
if I needed to get an office, just because I felt like the fact that I was spending you know, when I'm working, I'm deeply engaged in my work. I'm 100% focused. I don't want to be distracted. I am processing 1,000,001 data points like a little robot. You know, when I'm working, I'm in the zone. So to be coming downstairs to get lunch and then somebody asked me a question, not just somebody, but you asked me a question like, oh, like I'm on the phone with this client, da 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 da, and I'm just like, I am processing a board deck right now. Like I can with this wait, like, you know, so I felt like, okay, old me would have said, run, like get the office, get out of the house, avoid the conflict. Like don't, the situation that you've created isn't going to be sustainable. It's going to cause too much conflict every day because he wants your time and attention. You guys don't work the same. He wants your time and attention in the middle of the day and you are 100% locked in. And then at 5, I'm 100% locked out. I'm like, I am done. I am drained. I have given every brain cell in my body to this company. And I want to sit and go outside in my garden and paint or just lay on the couch, you know, and read. You're like still at it. You're like peaking at 3 to 4 or 5. So I think what we've both tried to be intentional about is like when we have those feelings of run, detach, change up the situation, we've tried to, even if we have difficult conversations, like work through it.
Yeah. But I think now it's not even, it feels like
we worked through it.
We don't even talk about anything.
It is nice to have figured it out.
Yeah.
As much as possible. But yeah, girl, you know, anybody listening to this, you just got to thug it out and just work through the issues. We try not to avoid issues. If there's something on my mind, I just say it. Like, I think that's been something that's been really helpful, is just when my mind goes into negative things or spinning into different bad scenarios and stuff. Any last thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Anything else you want the streets to know?
I hate being on camera. That's what I want you guys to know.
Show Josh some love, you guys, for
hate
doing
it.
this episode with me
I hate being on camera.
on behalf of all of society.
Yeah,
Thank you, baby.
that's all I got to say.
I love you.
I know you do, and I love you too.
I was going to say if you don't say it back.
I did that delay on purpose. I love you too. And we're having a son.
And we're having a baby.
So
We're having a baby. Anyways, guys, thank you
Yeah.
so much for listening. If you loved this episode and you want to see more of Josh, make sure that you follow me on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. See this handsome face. He's so uncomfortable right now.
I know, man.
And also make sure you give a rating to this podcast on iTunes. I love doing this for you guys. It's just so much fun reading everybody's comments, reading everybody's reviews, and also subscribe to the newsletter, which we send out every week with different resources, books, and things like that. In this episode, I'm going to include a list of books that I read to prepare to be a woman who can receive this type of love and build this type of partnership. So subscribe to the newsletter so you can get access to some of those books
Absolutely.
and all the resources. So thanks, babe.
Till next time.
Until next time. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for listening to the Journey podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review and head to our Instagram and YouTube to leave a comment. I look forward to hearing how this podcast has made an impact on your own journey.